What's up, Schultzy? Happy New Year, and with the new year comes fly time. With fly time comes videos. So we're going to feed you a few of our favorite patterns. Today I'm going to be talking about a fly that's simply a Circus Peanut modification. Around here, the Circus Peanut has been a staple in all of our boxes since we've been teenagers, thanks to Russ Madden. But that platform can be built upon, as we already know, with Kelly's flies and all the other flies that are out there with two hooks. But as always, we specialize these flies to our watersheds, to the style of fishing that we prefer to do. This particular version I'm going to show you is going to be something that I personally am going to reach for in the winter months and going into the early spring where the water is cold. I'm usually going to use this style fly when the water's up, as opposed to the woodsman, where I would use that fly when the water's down a little bit. I'm fishing close to wood and whatnot. This fly here can be swung, it can be stripped. And don't get me wrong, this is purpose built for a specific time of season for us, but this thing right here can be fished throughout the year with some modifications to the water level that you're fishing, the style of your fishery and whatnot. So here we go. Modified Circus Peanut. We call it the cold water nut. As always, Eric's hooks. Rear hook on this guy is going to be a TP 610 Trout Predator. If I'm going with a size 1 hook on the front, I'm going to go with a size 2 in the back. If I'm going with a size 2 on the front, I'm going to go with a size 4 on the back. And I'll walk you through this, but this is a TP 610, also available in a TP 605, which is a lighter wire version. I'm going to be fishing this thing around structure, around wood, banging it around. So I'm going to go with the heavier of the two, the 610. 15 millimeter shank is going to connect them to an Eric's SA280. This is going to be the minnow hook. Again, 1 on the front, 2 in the back, 2 in the front, 4 in the back. It's kind of the two templates that I tie this on. And these flies are going to be anywhere between 3 inches to 4.5 inches if you go with a long tail on it. So here we go. Okay. So hooks are going to be riding down. So unlike some of the other flies we tie, this one's going to be running kind of standard the way you think it should run. Okay, put in a little marabou tail. Do a couple colors here. Make it look cool. Fly tying's supposed to be fun. Make your flies fun. All right. This is a little buggerboo, barred marabou. This crap up here. Tie that in. Little tip to the JJ Special or Autumn Splendor, which was a big pattern in my early days of fishing for smallmouth around here. Put a little bit of flash in. A little flash-a-boo. Couple strands there. Copper gold. Old standards for around here. And this is a pattern that I'm going to tie onto a intermediate line, most likely. But in low flows, different presentations you might need to do while you're on the water. You could fish it on a floater. And like a lot of these patterns, they'll all be kind of there's always an under the hood factor with these things. This particular fly, you can vary the weight of the fly by using different size beads, which we'll get to when we get to the front of this. But in the colder water periods, I'm talking sub 45, but more sub 40 I don't want a giant fly. So those little 3.5, 4.5 inch flies are plenty. Senyo satin chenille, great alternative to a lot of stuff that's been around a long time, such as Estaz. This matte finish on this, pretty cool. There, buddy. About 2/3 of the way up. Hang out. And some rubber legs. A couple yellows. A couple browns. Lay these boys out while I'm doing this. Again, this can be something that will you can do a lot of different things with it. Very versatile platform, the Circus Peanut. You can swing this fly, you can strip this fly, you can dead drift it, do a little bit of everything with it. Tie in different weights for different water levels, different water temps. Clean that up a little bit. All right. And these are not essential. You don't have to put these little wings on here, but it'll affect the way the fly falls a little bit. Got some little parachutes off the back, slower fall, and obviously it gives it some cool coloration and whatnot. Cut this off. And you could definitely wrap some schlopping on there if you wanted. This cool stuff here, Senyo's Dirty Bird Dub. Greg gave me some of this over the summer and just started kind of popping it into different patterns. And this fly, like I was saying, what we use it for around here, it's going to be a fly that I'm going to personally use in colder water temps. So anytime you can have a little bit of motion without movement, and this stuff's got a little bit of flash in it, and looks pretty darn cool when it's wet. So there's your rear hook there. Cut that guy off. Give her a little love with the resin. I think I use Flex the most. And that's what this happens to be. And if you're a little 5-weight chucker, you could probably tie this thing on right now and go catch something. But a little shank. Get in there. There's that. Up. That right there was all right. Little 15mm shank, could be 10, whatever you choose. About as big as I go is a 15. Lock that in there. I'm pretty much going to repeat. It's going to be chenille, rubber legs, the wing, and more Dirty Bird. This is the 20mm Senyo satin. Comes in 10, 20, and 30, and a lot of different colors. So I'm not 100% sure how many, but I'd say at least 20. And some rubber in here. More rubber legs, the slower the fall. And this fly, unlike the woodsman, this one's going to kind of have a nosedive to it when it drops. It's not going to fall flat. It's going to tip and fall pretty quickly, especially considering where the fish are sitting that time of year. You're not going to catch smallmouth in heavy current this time of year around here. So these fish are going to be sitting in some slow water, and as that water temps, as the water temps rise, those fish will start creeping towards the seams and whatnot, and moving out of that area to where they might eventually spawn. So when you get into that dead water, this thing will drop pretty quick. And we're talking crayfish, lamprey, a whole bunch of different things creeping around these rivers. You know, they're all hanging out in that slow water this time of year. Oops. A little bit more. Pretty cool blends that Greg came up with. More zap, or more raid zap. And these are pretty quick ties if you're grooving and you're banging them out. I tied a few of them over the last few days, and I didn't spend that much time on the vise. So here we go. We're going to take a Senyo shank, 23 or 17, whatever you have. Pop that in there. I'm going to cut that off. Size 1 SA280. Okay, we're going to put a bead on this. I'm just going to throw that in there. Sizes, talking a big one, not that I would use it on this particular fly with this hook, but a 7/32. You got a 5/32 is kind of what I'm going to be running on here. There's no deal, but these are tungsten, and vary the weight. You can use tungsten, you can use brass, whatever you want to use. You're going to build yourself a little arsenal of these things. And a lot of times the ones that are slotted are going to be able to get over that that barb for you. I'm going to lock this in here. So give yourself a little bit of room up front. I'm going to take this, you're going to lay down a little thread base. I've personally never had one of these things come undone. And that right down the side. Try not to break your thread. I'm most likely going to be fishing this on 12 fluoro, maybe a little bit lighter, maybe 10 if the water's really clear, but usually 12. Let that set up. And once again, it's just going to be a repeat. We're going to move our way through this. It's going to be Senyo satin chenille, and some rubber legs, and then more dirty bird, and then we're going to use a rabbit brush for the head, another MFC product that's been around for a long time, very popular here at the shop. And there's some new stuff coming as well. Got it locked in there. Maybe one more. Lock that in. That glue's still tacky, so that's not going anywhere. That tied in. So you got a nice gap with that hook set up versus running another long streamer hook in the front. I like that gap to hook shank length for a lot of different flies. But there's that. Okay, back to the rubber. And go throw a double yellow up here. Boom. All right, little wing. Cool, little clump here. The dirty bird. Cool. And then we're gonna wrap that brush head. Not a brush head, but well, it is a brush, but it's natural. It's just gonna be a MFC brush. Now you can spin this up yourself. You know, if you want to use a dubbing twister and whatnot, you can do that. I'm usually tying these things when I want to get them done and get out on the water the next day. So I'm gonna lean towards this brush with something like this. Comes in a bunch of different colors. And like I was saying, there's more on the way. New stuff coming. Brush-wise, when it comes to bunny. Use that super glue to lock that right in there. And this boy's gonna drop like a rock. So I suppose I've never done it with this particular pattern, but I suppose you could use like a crustaceous brush head if you wanted to build this out for when the fish get a little more grabby come spring and get something that swims a little bit. I'm sure it would do just fine. But this is going to be something, again, that I'm going to fish 45 degrees and down. You know, I'm going to be reaching for this high 30s, low 40s more times than not, versus throwing a lead-eyed leech or something that's more of a jigging motion. This fly allows you to hunt a little bit more, and you can see it sometimes as well. You can track this thing. It's kind of hard to track a red-eyed leech. But great little pattern. Looks like a crayfish, looks like a sculpin, looks like a bunch of different things. Chestnut lamprey. Trim these legs up a little bit. But another variation of one of the greatest of all time, the Circus Peanut. And you can mess around with this, tie it in a million different colors. I'm usually going to be leaning more towards a natural color scheme with this. It'll be about as wild as I personally get for my fishing. It'll be something like this, but they dig the Autumn Splendor back in the day, and they still do. And this is kind of a Autumn Splendor slash JJ Special version of a Circus Peanut. And again, vary the weight up front in your flies. You can build a little arsenal. I usually tie them in 2 or 3 different weights, and fish them according to the current flows. But a great fly that can be stripped. It can be swung. It can be swung stripped. It can be dead drifted from a drift boat as you're moving. But the wintertime, fish are potted up, locked in. We know where they're at. And this is something that they will eat when fed properly, and can be tied in a million different ways. So thanks for checking that out. The cold water nut Circus Peanut variant.